Today on Cooking with a Lion, I'll be making the ultimate summertime fruit salad that uses a really cool cutting technique that'll take this recipe from your cutting board right to the dinner table in no time flat. And it's all happening right now. Let's get started. The main ingredient for this ultimate summertime fruit salad is watermelon. Now, watermelon is one of these things where you get it and it's pretty large, and how do you cut it up into something that's really elegant and delicious, very elevated like this salad is? Well, let me show you this cutting technique that I came up with. What I've done is I've actually just purchased a quarter of a watermelon. That way you can actually see how good the watermelon is on the inside. And what you want to do is you want to take these two flat planes of the watermelon and let those be your guide. Just like guide me, guide my sword. And the way to do that is to slice parallel lines to the flat angles, if you will. So if I want a tiny dice, all I have to do is just take this plane, move my knife over, say, 1/2 inch, and just plunge the knife into the watermelon, just carefully. And then what you'll do is you'll actually feel the tip of your blade rub against the inside of the rind. That's a good thing. And you move your blade over about the same amount, say 1/2 inch, using this flat surface as a guide, running the knife all the way down and all the way up around the entire circumference, and you just keep doing that. And when you get really proficient at this, you'll find that you can just bang out probably 100 tiny little cubes in no time flat. So I have all of these parallel lines. Now all I have to do is really focus on this flat plane and then cut with the knife going this way. Same thing. Let's do, say, 1/2 inch. I'll run the knife all the way down to the rind, go over, say, 1/2 inch. And if you want smaller little cubes, you can cut smaller lines. If you want like an inch dice of watermelon, that'd be cool. Just go ahead and cut them an inch. So I have lines going this way, parallel lines going this way. Now all I have to do is actually just turn it and then slice it perpendicular, straight across, making these beautiful little cubes. Again, I can feel the rind with the tip of my knife, so I know exactly how far to go. And much like a magic trick with super easy cleanup, what's gonna happen is a pretty cool thing. This cutting board will be covered in tiny little cute watermelon cubes that all of your guests will wonder, how do they do that? How do they get such perfect cubes? And this is how it's done. I mean, Lego never had it so cool. So you could at least make, 5 or 6 salads with all of this watermelon. So I don't need 5 or 6, I just need, 1 or 2. So I'll just take a couple handfuls of these beautiful little cubes and then put them in this bowl over here. And then for later on, hopefully when guests come over, I'll move this to the side and I can make some later on. With the watermelon done, what other fruits are we going for? Well, summertime just screams tomatoes to me. And these small, beautiful, I have teardrop and grape tomatoes in here. I've cut them in half, or the larger ones, you can cut them in quarters, and they go in. Summertime tomatoes bring such a wonderful acidity and also a lot of sugar, so it just helps zip the whole thing up. Cucumbers, another amazing fruit. These are Persian cucumbers. Japanese cucumbers work really well as well, because these two varieties of cucumbers, their skins aren't bitter at all, so I don't have to peel them. It makes it a lot faster for me, and also the seeds are a lot smaller, so again, really fast, gets this thing on the table in no time. Great crunch too. What about herbs? Yes, please, fresh herbs. What summertime? Basil? Definitely. Mint? Definitely. And all I had to do is just pick them and tear them. You can also chop them up if you want into smaller pieces so that every bite gets this wonderful herbaceousness. Now, as far as acidity, you do need a little bit. Watermelon's sweet, but it doesn't have a lot of punch as far as acid. So what I've done here is I've taken 1 small lemon and I've zested it and also gotten the juice out of that. And this will really make this salad just fire on all cylinders. It really helps balance everything out. Now, I haven't added salt or pepper. I'm gonna add pepper right now, freshly ground. Fresh ground black pepper to a fruit salad Absolutely. It brings this lovely like floral quality. And we're kind of done. Now all I have to do is plate it up. Olive oil helps bring those flavors together. It really brings this wonderful mouthfeel to it. Or else it's like really juicy, which is refreshing, but I want a little bit of like sensuality in this. And the olive oil helps meld those flavors together. Give it a very gentle stir. Now I haven't added any salt. Why not? Well, the salt's gonna go on at the end in two different ways. Well, what ways would those be? Well, we have this little serving plate. One way is with cheese. What kind of cheese? It's feta. Now I have a goat and sheep's milk feta here. The wonderful thing about cheese stores or regular grocery stores that have a decent selection as far as cheeses are concerned is try them. You just never know how much salinity, how much salt it has on offer. But this is a mixed feta. It's a little crumbly, it's a little salty, it's a little delicious, goes a long way. Now some of them can be a bit creamy, and if you have those, you'll definitely want to finish it with that, because if you stir it in too early, it gets a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't look quite as clean. That looks crazy clean. Now I want to finish it off with a little bit of finishing sea salt for that crunch, for that really nice bite of salinity, and just right over top. I mean, that is crazy. And it's super duper fast. Now, how am I gonna eat this? With a spoon. What? Yes. What happens is, as you let this sit for even just a couple of minutes, the salt is gonna draw moisture out of the tomatoes and definitely out of that watermelon. And that olive oil and the flavoring creates this sort of like broth at the bottom. So I like to give people a spoon so you can fit all this stuff on a spoon. Make sure you get everything. And then I'll show you the broth in just a few seconds. This is why I call this my ultimate summertime fruit salad. It is everything your dreams have ever had and more. You have that lemon juice, which just elevates all these different flavors. That lemon zest brings the complexity as far as the oil, and then the olive oil kind of mixes in with those two oils, so every bite is just like wonderful and floral. Watermelon, fresh, clean, totally refreshing. And the tomatoes, depending upon which tomato you get, can have higher or lower acidity, a little punch of sugar, and then it's like the cucumber. Does cucumber have a function? It certainly does. It brings this wonderful crispness, but it's straight on. You could always rely on cucumber. Feta is wonderful. It's crumbly, but you get it in your mouth and you start chewing, it's nice and creamy, and then you get a pop of the pepper and that salt. The herbs come through beautifully, it keeps it really light, and it's really elevated. And how fast did that come together? Like just a couple minutes. And the cool thing is, with watermelon, tomato, cucumber, you can make a huge bowl for a big party of friends that lasts all day long. And don't forget about that broth I was talking about. Look at this. See that? That's liquid gold, my friends. That is why you serve this with a spoon. Amazing salad. It's my ultimate summertime fruit salad. And how cool is that cutting slicing of the watermelon? You get tiny or large dice. That is a crowd pleaser. And speaking of crowd pleaser, be sure to try this watermelon salad. It will be the talk of your party. And when you do, be sure to tag me so we can enjoy this amazing ultimate summertime salad together. Cheers.